Unprofessional rationalization. This is probably going to be one of the most important things that I will teach to my viewers since the creation of my channel. So if you want to learn something that might accompany you for the rest of your life, listen closely. Do you see this Reddit post in the background? I'm going to leave the comment open for the rest of the video. It's going to be very, very relevant. Hey, IOStax here. Are you good at something? Like, really good at something? Maybe you're really good at a certain sport. Maybe you are really good at playing the guitar. Maybe you're an excellent artist. Seriously, everyone is really good at something, even if it's as mundane as a certain class in school or a phone game. I want you to think about that specific skill you have, because it will come in handy later. Unprofessional rationalization describes the process of overvaluing tools. So let's take Overwatch for example. If you scour through the interwebs, watch some guides or participate in late night Discord shit talk sessions, you might have heard of all sorts of things that players use to improve their play. People are talking about perfect mouse sensors, shapes, weights, and textures. They talk about optimal mousepad size and friction. They talk about minimizing input lag, about maximizing frame rate. They talk about the refresh rate of your monitor. They also talk about your mental state. They talk about being hydrated, well awake, having good posture, holding your mouse the right way, queuing at the right times for comp, having the optimal group size, min-maxing Mercy-specific settings. They talk about psychology, how to keep themselves calm, how to manipulate their teams. They talk about communication. They talk about team comp, they talk about all sorts of things. They try to improve their performance in any way possible. When asking them why they do that, the answer is always the same. I want to make sure that I have the optimal setup for performing well in-game. At first that sounds like a reasonable statement. I mean, why would I focus on getting better at the actual game mechanics before I have a decent mouse? Do you remember what I talked about earlier? That specific talent you have? I want you to focus on the tools and setup you have to execute that talent. Let's take a sport for example. Let's take football. It doesn't matter if it's American football or soccer, to be honest. If you're really good at that game, think about all the tools and conditions you have. Think about what makes you so good at what you do. Do you think your sports shoes allow you to play so well? Do you think that the stadium lights being too bright would hinder your performance? Do you think that the grass and ground having a slightly different texture than yesterday would affect your performance? Fuck no, it won't. If you're a good football player, you will stomp amateur league players blindfolded. All of those things don't really matter to you. They do make a slight difference, don't get me wrong. A blinding light can be annoying. But if you play in the Champions League and you lose to a 12-year-old, it's not because the light blinded you. Or let's take something more relatable. How about playing the guitar? Imagine someone coming to you asking you questions like, I think my guitar strings are too rough. I think my plectrum doesn't fit my fingers quite right. I think that this guitar is too large or small for me. I think that I am sitting too low, blah blah blah. You would probably laugh at them. Being a good guitar player means that you don't care about all of those things. Do you think that Jimi Hendrix would cancel one of his tours because he lost his favorite plectrum? Do you think that he won't be able to play Purple Haze because he has to use his bandmate's guitar? Do you think he cares about moving around while playing, about standing or sitting? No, he doesn't. Being good doesn't have anything to do with the tools you are using. Or what about the artist? Do you think Sakimi-chan's art is going to look worse because she's over at a friend's place using her graphics tablet? Do you think that she won't be able to draw on paper? Do you think that she needs a 4K textured graphics tablet in order to draw those pictures? No, you could give her a pencil and a piece of paper and she could create a sellable art piece that far exceeds the stuff you draw, even if you get to draw on a fancy 4K textured touch display with customizable angles and a pressure sensitive pen with 4096 levels of pressure sensitivity. And now let's put that into Overwatch. Do you think that Taimo is so good because he uses the latest tech? Do you think he cares whether he plays with his EC2A or someone else's mouse? Just look at sponsorship deals. Some people are simply using the mouse they get from the sponsorship deal, even if it's not their favorite mouse. Do you think that they won't reach top 500 just because they didn't drink enough water lately? Now, again, I'm not saying that water isn't good. I'm also not saying that a proper mouse makes no difference, and as sure as heck I'm not saying that 60 Hz is an acceptable gaming experience. But using those factors as an excuse for your performance is just giving very amateurish excuses. Or if we were being more eloquent, unprofessional rationalization. If you are a professional at something, you laugh at the fact that an amateur focuses so much on the tools. You're laughing at the fact that they could spend all their time theory crafting into actually practicing the fucking game or instrument or skill. Someone like Sinatra is probably going to climb out of gold with the damn Apple Magic Trackpad too. Siegel could walk straight into your room right now and play on your filthy, greasy Sharkoon fire glider and absolutely destroy silver players, even if your team comp consists of Torbjorn, Symmetra, Bastion, Widowmaker and Hanzo. Stop correlating your performance to your gear. A wise man called Growling once told me, "Just play the game, idiot." And it holds true. Being comfortable is important. Having a healthy stature while playing is good. 144 Hz is really
nice.
And playing on low settings for minimum input lag makes the experience a whole lot better. But they aren't the reason you aren't climbing. And once you start climbing, you will look back on yourself and laugh at the fact that you spent months and hundreds of dollars trying to find the perfect mouse and the perfect mouse sensitivity, because that has to be the reason you weren't hitting shots. I know that people will start arguing. They will tell me how I'm wrong, that having the perfect mouse is super important, that I am a peasant for defending 60 Hz, and how professionals use good equipment for a reason. But those guys are missing the point. Focus on what actually matters. Focus on the craft, not the tools. I'm not saying that those things don't make a difference. I am saying that you should never prioritize them.
Ha! This article says that if you add your face to the video and ask for subscribers, you're actually going to see results. What a pile of bullshit. Hey, I hope you liked the video. If you did, you can press the like button. And if you really liked it, you can also press the subscribe button. You can also join my Discord community. We're usually a bunch of pretty nice people. Usually. And if you really feel like being a great person, you can check out my website, iosdux.com, and consider getting some personal coaching. My name is iosdux, and I'd like to thank you for learning.